Hey there, Russell traders. David here from TradingFibs.com to bring you today's Russell recap for Tuesday, June 4th, 2013. As always, this information is for educational purposes only. Please make sure that if you are trading with real money, always seek financial advisements. Have a good stop in place and a trading plan. You will lose money in the market. Goal is to lose as least as possible. Taking a look at our major indices to start with, as you can see, price action pretty much stayed within the 25-minute open range. We have here in the upper left our E-mini for the majority of the morning, afternoon, up to lunchtime session on the East Coast, as well as in the YM. NASDAQ had a little bit of a breakout in the early morning session and then followed suit with the rest of the four indices under the 25-minute open range, each giving a wealth of profit on the short, the TF up to 130 ticks on the EMA crossover. Market internals from a tick was pretty much mixed. Our morning started out in the red, came up a couple green. Again, we flip-flopped back and forth over the day, so all over the place. It really was the AD line that started out a little bit strong, came underneath zero, and gave us the strength to the short, as well as the market breadth, which pretty much was flat 1-to-1 for the majority of the morning session, and eventually gave way, so that followed price action suit down to the fib targets. Taking a look at our 6 panels here in charts, our upper left-hand corner being the 5-minute bars on a 25-minute open range, Heikin Ashi range charts, Heikin Ashi range charts with 4 EMA crossover, and then our daily pivot SR lines from daily to 1 hour to Camarilla pivots. First opportunity really existed in the market at the market open. We really had a nice jump up at the market open for the day, which ran price up to the top of the 25-minute open range. Looking at, again, with mixed market internals, really wasn't looking very good to break 4 levels of resistance here: weekly fib, monthly fib, weekly R1, and a daily fib level. So price held within there, chopped up a little bit inside the range. The first opportunity came right here at about post 45 minutes of the open, where price started to come right under the 25-minute open range. However, with a weekly pivot here at 988.5, and then looking at my Heikin Ashi chart, we were looking here at about the same time. 989.2 was the 25-minute open range, so really had my first Heikin Ashi bar close underneath at the same time, but really never followed through. Came back up with support on the weekly pivot. So entry, while on the Heikin Ashi bar, was starting to form a support line there at 988.5, with also a daily gap at 989.5 was not showing, was also showing some type of major support at 989.5 at the same time. So no trade was taken at that time. The next opportunity that presented itself was really about 30 minutes later, with some solid red 5-minute bar coming under. So we're at post almost hour and a half of the market open. So looking at the 7:50 West Coast time, we're looking at our first entry underneath the 25-minute open range, with a 1-hour open range at 987.6 as a target, as the first target. As you can see, we had a nice 534 EMA crossover here, but never entering until under the 25-minute open range. Price did follow down all the way to a level of 983.8. And looking at my other charts, 983.8, we had already passed the around the pivot line. So here's my bar coming down, looking at for some support here. So we came down all the way. Pivot line, a daily pivot being a line of resistance. Here is a 1 hour open range. So Green top at 996.10, lower 987.6. Price ended up coming down to 986.10, coming up underneath a little bit here. And looking for that 983, we find it right here at approximately the cam level L3. So, first entry of the day, approximately almost hour and a half post-market time, with an entry under the 25-minute open range with market internals supporting a drive down. Here we have our 15-minute bar, so a nice tick coming under. Market was pretty much flat at the point as market breadth. We had some selling underneath zero on the AD line at around 400, which gave us a little bit short burst, but as you can see, AD line popped back up. So took some contracts off and exited the trade. Again, could have kept you in if you stay in with as long as price is under the 534, 5 EMA under the 34, or you can once price turned around on the Heikin Ashis, you could have taken your contracts off. So again, we had 983.8 was a Camarilla pivot L3, and you can see price bounce back up. The 1 hour open range pretty much held the line for the remainder of the next almost hour, until which time price action really started to break down, and that was our 130 tick drive to the south side, which on a so for about 2.5 hours post time, and driving all the way down to a low of around 973. So again, all momentum was downside. The weekly pivot, the lower 25-minute open range really holding the line here. And so the Heikin Ashi entry, once again, we had chopped it up here. Market internals started to turn south. You could wait a bar or two, but all solid selling. And as you could see, the 534 EMA would have kept you in the trade all the way down for a 130 tick drive. What supported this move, again, is I like to look at the 4 EMA and the 4 EMA. So here we have the first drive down underneath the 25-minute open range. A little chop action here, and then we come down, as we could see, the 5 EMA staying under the 13, the 21, and the 80, all the way down, just barely crossing here, and then staying in the trade, removing emotion, never having to come out because of our exponential moving average. Again, price coming down to a daily S1, never coming down to S2. On our 1 hour open range, we again found support over here at the daily S2, came down to daily S3, even broke down. So we technically rode it down from this daily S1, passed down to 972. And then Camarilla pivots never held under L4, broke underneath, momentum drive for a 130 ticks. Using a Fibonacci extension, also giving a full target, bring a line from A to B on the crossover. Again, we had a full move down to 973.9. Entering underneath the 25-minute open range, could have entered somewhere in this region at 9 o'clock Western time, lunchtime on the East Coast. Take off targets at target 1, target 2, move stop to target 1, and keep moving down, staying in the EMA. So 4 targets hit on the Fibonacci extensions. So nice trade. Two trades, 2 significant trades for the day. Once 130 ticks plus another 18 ticks on the first. 148 ticks for the day. Not a bad day. If you wanted to get back in, my tendency is just not to, once getting a nice drive like that, not to be too greedy and walk away. Any crossover here was a potential move. On the EMA crossover, but again, the momentum drive had already occurred underneath the 25-minute open range. So Very good day on the Russell. These are the days I like to look for when we have a nice trend, not these chops within the zone and only a couple of ticks outside, only to come back in. But just following the rules of the open range and using the EMA crossover on both of these charts, using pivot lines, support, resistance lines as possible targets, works out to the benefit. Don't need a lot of indicators to trade this kind of method. Again, this is the daily recap for June 14th. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? New day, fresh start, as they say, right? All right. You all have a good day. See you tomorrow.